Hello, welcome, beautiful blessings from Shay Bryant on your Sunday. It is Sunday, November the 15th, and I am honored to be here, to be alive, to be present for this moment. And if you are going to be joining me today live, or if you are watching this on the replay, welcome. This will be approximately 30 minutes, 33 minutes, something like that. And the point of this live is, of course, to share in some beautiful moon blessings, some moon medicine, as just last night was the new moon in Scorpio. And today, this live is also about the birthing, the co-creation of an assignment, of a vision that has been coming to me for a very long time, but has not let me go, will not release me, and therefore it is truly my assignment to co-create with you, because that's what we're always doing. We're in a state of co-creation. And so welcoming you fully to this moment. In this 30-minute call, like I'm saying, we're going to talk about the moon, and we're also going to talk about what exactly is this vision that I'm talking about. So let me go ahead and tell you just a little bit. It is a community for those that are dedicated and want to dedicate even further to cultivating, to co-creating crystal clear consciousness. And what does that mean, crystal clear consciousness? It means becoming truly who and what you really are. It means learning the skills, having the support, having the reminders, coming together to connect to ourselves, to connect to source, to allow our mind, our mentations to calm, to allow our emotions to be validated, and to also dissipate and release. So this church that I am creating is also about reclaiming. It's reclaiming the word church. For many of us, that is both a reminder of a loving space, and for many of us, it is also a trigger of something that perhaps violated us or abused us, or we had an experience within a church that wasn't helpful, that wasn't healthy. So wherever you are on the spectrum of the word church, this is about reclaiming it for you, because your spirituality is yours. Your connection to yourself, your connection to source, and how you define source is yours. That is your assignment. That is what you are here for on this planet. And the other reason that this vision is needing to be birthed in the world, and the reason that I am willing to be uncomfortable and do all of this and call you forth as well, is because I'm answering a call of my soul. And I know many of us out there, I'm a spiritual coach, so I work with many of us out there about answering the call of our souls. I feel that a lot of the misery, the disease in this world is because we are not listening to our own souls. We are not following that, the way of the heart, the way of the soul, the way of spirit. And so this is an opportunity without dogma, without any one particular lineage of spirituality, of spiritual philosophy, heck, even spiritual, religions, any place, any tradition, any lineage that speaks to truth. The truth of love, and that consciousness is your innateness. As Jesus said, Yeshua, be still and know. What he was speaking to, what he himself could access, was that deep, calm inner state when he was one with consciousness. You have consciousness. Everything has consciousness. And when we are lost in thought, when our ego has taken us into some kind of, mental nightmare, we are no longer present. We are no longer in any kind of conscious union or control of that consciousness. So this crystal clear church is about having literal services where we can come together. and remembrance of who and what we really are. So awakening, enlightenment, is actually a path of decomposing. It is a path of death and destruction, in that it is about removing everything that you are not. You are not your thoughts about yourself. You're definitely not the thoughts that anybody else has about you. You're not even your own emotions. You're not even this body temple. Who and what you are is consciousness. And that is what the truth of all religions, all spiritual philosophies at their great essence. And so this is a church where you are sovereign and your role is to be a truth sifter. That's always been your role. You've always been sovereign. But stepping into that consciously and having other sovereign souls remind you of your innateness, of your innate greatness, of that connection is your birthright. So, Crystal Clear Church is also a play on words. Not only is it a church where all teachings of truth and love and kindness, whether that comes from Yeshua, whether that comes from Mary Magdalene, his wife and equal, whether that comes from Taoism, whether it comes from Buddhism, whether it comes from Zen, whether it comes from yoga. I've studied yoga extensively for about 25 years. I'm also thrilled to see in my vision working with others, other teachers, inviting in other perspectives, and us together tackling and talking about some of these subjects that need to be included in spiritual discussions, such as social justice, such as climate, such as what is our role as steward in this world. How can we talk about these things without dogma? We can. We can talk about them in a sacred space of love and kindness. It is possible, and that is exactly what the creed of this church will be. It's compassion and loving kindness, and in creating that communication. First and foremost with our hearts, communication with source and self, and communication with other souls in a loving way. I envision men's circles being a part of this. I would love to have some men as ministers, anyone who identifies as male. There are so many visions that I have that I could not talk about how huge and wonderful this could be. But as everything, it must start with one small step. And that's what I'm beginning with right here and right now. So I'll come live again next Sunday and just talk about this and get the fires stoked, as well as hear your ideas, your longings, what you need. Some of you have already reached out to me, both in the role of perhaps minister. I'm calling it like a minister of unity, perhaps somebody who wants to teach, perhaps somebody who wants to support such a thing, or just show up and participate. So our official first church, go ahead and put this on your calendar, is going to be the last Sunday of this month. Sunday, November the 29th, we will meet. And right now I'm setting the time at noon Central. So that's 1 p.m. Eastern. Gets earlier as you go out west. I am willing to change the time. Of course, I want to hear from you guys about that. And Sunday, November the 29th, we will also be celebrating the fact that Monday, the very next day, is going to be a full moon and in Gemini, and it's also going to be a lunar eclipse. So we'll be celebrating that as well. So this Crystal Clear Church will be a place for the mystic, meaning you find truth, you hear truth, you want to drink truth from anywhere. You're non-dogmatic and you can feel it. You feel truth in nature. Maybe you call nature your church. Then this would be a perfect place to call home as well. I'm inviting anyone who calls themselves a witch or a wizard, a sorceress, a seer, somebody that doesn't identify in the normal way, or maybe you don't even have a name for it. You just know you're a little different and that you're non-dogmatic, but that there is connection and you want more and you want community. So that is the vision I have for Crystal Clear Church, and there's more. We will also literally be using crystals. So if you are, yay, crystal person, woohoo, come on in. And if you're like, I don't know, crystals, I mean, I guess I'm open, then come and see what it's about. If you do not use crystals, because you have not, then this will be a great place to learn. And if you do not feel comfortable using crystals, or you just don't have any and you're not going to get any, you can use anything. So this is going to be about learning how we can use the beautiful gifts that we have been given on this earth, tangible 3D items. For example, this is black moonstone. Moonstone holds the frequency and the vibrations of the moon, and black moonstone in particular of the new moon that we just went through here in Central Time Zone. It was last night at 11:07. So we are at the darkest right now time in the moon cycle. So in Crystal Clear Church, we are going to be using the moon as a guide. We are going to be using nature, the reality that we are in. We are so drastically affected by the moon. You do know that tides, right, drastically fall and rise. We are mainly made of water. Our entire planet, everything on this planet is affected by the moon and the other planets. So I will be using the moon as a guide throughout our journey, as well as using astrology. Astrology for me is not a religion, it's not dogmatic, and it is for the individual, an art form of astrology to come out of the individual. So we'll be using astrology again as a guide, as archetypes of how to explore ourselves. So for example, last night was the new moon in Scorpio. We are in Scorpio season right now, and we will be the rest of this month until the 21st when we transition into the sign of Sagittarius. So I will be again discussing all of this just as a way for you to further explore yourself, to get that masters in me, in yourself, and to recognize that you have this holy, sacred syllabus that you are already on, a path that you are on. So if you haven't acknowledged it yet, perhaps taking an opportunity right now, today, to recognize where we are in the moon cycle. We are in the new moon, the dark moon, where we are in the womb, also the tomb. Womb and tomb are essentially the same thing. And the cycle of birth and death, that moment of womb and tomb, is a portal, right, to a different expression. We are also in the place of the womb and the tomb of the year, of the wheel of the year. Here we are in the final quarter. We are in the darkest portion of the year. We have just entered Soin, and we are now making our trek towards the winter solstice. Every single day we are losing at least 2 minutes of light, and until we get into the winter solstice, we will be continuing to make our journey down into the shadow. So this is the time of year to do shadow work, and I invite you to do that with yourself. The Scorpio season also invites us to do that, to look within at our shadow and the power that awaits us when we do look within. So right now in the section of the west of the year, in the state of death and demise, in the darkness and the underworld that we are within, what perhaps within your life is coming to an end. And some of what is dying within you and around you, you might be welcoming. Yes, I want this to fall away. This no longer serves me. And there might also be death and destruction and dying away that you see around you or within you that is painful or uncomfortable or uninvited, an uninvited guest. And as the Sufi poet Rumi says, welcome and entertain them all. Even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your room of its furniture, even then, welcome. Welcoming whatever is presenting in your life in this moment. Perhaps it is death and destruction, but knowing that that death and destruction and demise is part of that holy dance of creation, of rebirth. And the path of the shadow warrior, the path of walking in women's wisdom, is that you walk into the dark, you walk into the shadow, and you go in order to turn on the light, in order to say that this death this disease, this dying away, is also holy. And right now, as we are going collectively through a state of decomposition that will ultimately transform, alchemize into a different expression, we can be a part of that transition, of that transformation. So collectively, yes, we are going through it, and we can be more at the helm if we do the work within ourselves as we collectively experience it. So, instead of fighting that is falling away, this change that we are in collectively, what can we do to be here present for it? To not fight it, but to reclaim it, to step into it. The way that a phoenix, in order to rise from the ashes, must first face and embrace the fire. The fires that are burning down what needs to burn, the fires that will burn away within ourselves impurities and that needs to go. Remembering that the path of awakening is actually a path of removal. So as within our society, things are falling around that need to, so that a new way could be revealed, what within ourselves can we actively participate in with this falling away, with this transformation? For some of us, that might include our business, the way that we do business, the way that we live our daily routine, things that used to be in our routine that cannot be there, they don't exist, maybe even more. The feelings within us that we are longing to return to a normal that no longer exists. Falling away of friends because there are differences politically, morally, ethically, and a falling away of actual life forms on this planet. COVID, other diseases, the amount of just pure starvation for no reason on this planet, and the amount of species that we are losing on a daily basis. We are in a definite state of death and destruction as a species. And the shadow warrior says that is also holy. That is also needed. How can I show up and participate in this as a warrior of love? Instead of fleeing from this, instead of trying to fight this, instead of going numb and trying to sleep through this, how can I be present more? How can I be of assistance more? Always the way to be of assistance. In fact, the only way to be of assistance is to be present. And in crystal clear church, and ideally in all churches, it would be about emphasizing, well, where are you in here? What vibration are you offering the universe in this moment? What are you bringing to the table? No matter what is being served on the table, maybe there's not even a table. What are you bringing, though, to the situation? This is the call of self-responsibility, the assignment that we do have. And this responsibility is not a burden. It is, in fact, the call to freedom. Your own freedom is up to you. I'm not talking about external freedom. I'm talking about true freedom, which is found within the present moment only, ever, when you are finally settled into the moment. It is an act of surrender, not of apathy, not of giving up, but of surrendering over your own ideas about reality. As we surrender, as we allow our own ideas about reality to die and fall away, and come to a place of stillness and connectedness, our thoughts, and then our emotions, and then our behavior, and then our life can be of a higher vibration, a higher level of consciousness. Your state of consciousness in any moment is the absolute highest act of service, or not, that you are offering. What is your vibration in any moment? What is your vibration in this moment? So I'm asking you, I'm challenging you, I'm challenging myself to truly step into that place of sovereignty, which does have responsibility because that is a path of freedom. It is up to me what I believe, and it is up to me to remember that what I believe is just thoughts. Thoughts about reality are not reality. So a true act of spiritual warriorship would be to surrender over your own thoughts. And so coming to a place of stillness or silence so that then we can be elevated in consciousness. Sometimes we think that we have to do a lot to upgrade our thinking, that we have to think more positive. And actually, that's still just thinking. Instead of thinking positive, if you were to cease thinking, your vibration would naturally rise on its own. Your innate vibration is joyful, is innocent, it's childlike. A child emanates joy and freedom. And then we, as we become more adult, we put on all the mentations that we're told, all of the thoughts, all of the conclusions, all of the labels, all of the diagnoses, until we'll no longer even remember who we are. We are so free. We are free of our name, our gender, our body, our identity. We're free of others' thoughts. And we are free of our own thoughts. And in that delicious stillness, that delicious silence where you are no longer thinking about reality, then and there, you can experience the joy of life. With that, I'm going to go ahead and spend just a couple minutes in meditation in that place of stillness. So allowing your body to either sit taller or to lie down, to just be comfortable. And there's really nothing that you have to do to become still. It's an undoing. Just noticing that your body is breathing you. Your body is supporting you. And that you are that awareness of breath. You are the awareness of your body. And for just simply 2 minutes, how completely can you be here right now? Surrendering over any thoughts that make their way into your awareness. Releasing and allowing. Can you fully allow yourself to simply be, to simply exist? the faster that you give up your own ideas about reality, the sooner you can enter the stillness within. Give yourself permission to be filled up. Permission to feel stillness. Remembering that in every moment, in any moment, you can always return again to stillness. Stillness is what is behind movement. The silence that is behind all sound. Stillness and silence. That is closer to who and what you really are. And allowing yourself to feel into your own heart center. Perhaps even taking your hand to your heart if you need, and just take a breath there. And in this moment, at this new moon, at this new beginning that you have, no matter what you have done, no matter what you have not done, can you feel into your heart's desire, your soul's longing for this month ahead of you, for this month of opportunity, for these next 30 days in this lunar cycle? Who and what would you like to be? What vibration would you like to emanate into this world? What service can you offer? And remember that the highest service possible is joy. The highest service possible is love. So right here, right now, can you take another surrendered breath, if need be, and allow yourself to feel joy, love, peace, support. The only person who can deny you from feeling that is you. Can you allow the gates to open, and can you feel nourishment of heart, of love, of joy, of peace? It is there. And maybe perhaps your prayer for these next 30 days could be, may I open more. May I allow myself to be nourished more. Maybe what falls away and what dies within you are those own barriers that you have to allowing yourself to feel nourished. When ready, taking some breaths, opening the eyes, coming back to the room that you are within. And anytime I come out of a meditation, I attempt to bless everything I see. So having a reverential awareness to the items in the room that you are within. Even recognizing the support of the room itself, supporting you in your path. Sending you beautiful new moon blessings. Feel free to stay with this energy of womb and tomb, and that yes, we are in the state of the West, the ending of the year, the last turn of this wheel, and that you always have an opportunity every day, every moment that you become present to start anew. But quite literally, we're still in the new moon energy and just setting that intention for this next month ahead. What within us, what within me needs to fall away? How can I participate in that falling away so that the next incarnation can be birthed in this world? Because we need it. Thank you so much for listening and for your presence and for your meditation. At Crystal Clear Church, I will be sending you guys that are going to be participating in it. It'll be Zoom calls, and we'll have a church, service outline, so you'll know ahead of time of what it's going to be. And as I mentioned, we will be using some crystals. There will be meditation, there will be prayer, there will be song. I would love to include actual music one day. All kinds of beautiful stuff can happen. But it only happens if we show up and do the work. So thank you for showing up. Our first official Crystal Church service will be on Sunday, November the 29th. That's the last Sunday of this month at noon Central Time. I'll be back here next Sunday just to do another one of these guys. Just a little intro. Feel free to reach out. Let me know if you want to be a participant in this in any way. I will have a newsletter as well that I'm getting together. So if I don't have your email, please send that to me and let me know any thoughts, any visions that you also have from this. I am here in support of the highest possible for the greatest amount of humans possible. Thank you so much. Sending immense love. And before I hop off, let me leave you with a beautiful short poem by the poet Rumi. And it fully describes the intention of this community. Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, fugitive. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Ours is a caravan of endless joy. So come yet again. Even if you've broken your vow 1,000 times, so have I. Come again. All are welcome. Sending immense love and support